This is really how we got started on POD. We talked about every other platform, wholesale, private label, retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, but this is how we got started in the POD space. I think just sharing the story is beneficial. I think a lot of people start this way. We did the art and then we just made the listing. It was not that good of a process, but you had to start somewhere. This is kind of where I joined the fray. Nathaniel was asking me. I saw what he was doing. I was like, you need keywords. And then we immediately added that. He would do the art, then I would do the keywords, then we do the listing. What made the system much better is we started with the keywords, then we did the art, then we created the listing. And this is what we found to be the best. We found landing zones, which we'll be explaining a little bit later. And then we pulled keywords, created the art, did the listing. This was a system that we were able to build, and then we were able to hire out people to do these parts of the business. This took us a long time to do, 8 months, 12-hour days, back to back. If you heard the story, it's almost like our going to school in the snow, uphill both ways story. It took us a long time to do this. That's why I think we're so passionate about teaching. Is like, this is a process that I think a lot of people learn. Have a system to follow is the best way to actually grow a business. I believe business is just a bunch of systems. As soon as you can start putting those systems in place, you can start hiring people to help you to speed this whole thing up and actually grow a business.
And because I'm a creative and I like my colors and knowing where the lines are drawn between what me and Steven are doing, I just wanted to show, the same diagram just shown in this way to give you guys an idea of how this business kind of formed, but also like you could replace, our names there at the bottom, Nate in red and Steven in blue, with the art side and the data side of this business, because, those are the two things we enjoy. But if you're just one person working on this, kind of know that you need to switch on and off different parts of your brain as far as like how you're problem solving and thinking about certain situations. When we did start, it was just all art. Like that was the only thing I was worried about, getting good artwork done and making a listing, just kind of throwing whatever bare minimum stuff I needed up there. But like Steven said, when I started having some success, he was explaining to me that keywords are like the way that you get found on Amazon. And so I asked him to help me, and that's kind of where he fit in the system. But that wasn't great, because if you see that line that says good, it started with me doing art and then passing it off to Steven to do keywords. And then he would pass it back to me to actually like finish the listing, because I was the one at the time making the listings inside of merch. And this just wasn't very streamlined. This is a really bad system because there was a ton of lag time between when I would like get inspired to do art and Steven would have the time to do keywords for the artwork. And it was hard for him to do keywords that way as well, of like looking at this piece of art and telling, Amazon where he thinks it should fit. It just wasn't a good system at all. After some discussion and him explaining to me how important keywords were, things got better on that line. And you can see that Steven was just doing keywords up front and then passing it off to me to do the art in the listing. And the keywords first allowed us to target in. We're going to talk about that tonight a little bit, how we were targeting in with those keywords, but that was definitely, we saw a big jump in our productivity as far as being able to list things. But the best was when Steven was doing this idea of landing zones. That's really what we're going to talk about, our 5-step test of how to find landing zones, how to use keywords from them, and then me doing the art and creating the listing on the back end. And now we're happily in an area where we can just manage teams that kind of do this system for us. So Steven's managing the research team and I'm managing the art and the listing team. It's just a really great place to be in, where our business can cover, multiple people working for us and multiple teams working for us, all in unison, but only because of those 8 months that we put in with those 12-hour days, where it was just us like slamming our heads into a wall for a while. But once we saw things like clicking and starting to work and us being able to find success consistently, that was the big aha moment where like, okay, now the only problem we have is we need to be able to do more. And the only way we're going to do that is to hire more people, because we're just not physically able to do, more in one day.
I know we probably lingered here for a while, but I think building a system takes the longest. But once you have a system that's working, it's much easier to then hand that off and start scaling an actual business.